And welcome everyone to Burning Questions. I've had some health issues. There's something in my throat and it's back. I'm going to talk nice and quietly rather than that loud yelling. Okay, we're going to thank our sponsors quietly here as Emma Stewart, Andy Gath and Nikkita Ross join us. So this is going to be a more dulcet, quiet, calm, considered, collected Jason Bonnington today. Whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables, you want your staff to look their very best. And you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They have you covered for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. Welcome, Andrew. How are you today?
A lot better than you,
I think that's probably fair to say, actually. I mean, I'm in a fair bit of bother. Em, you're probably better than me as well. You look well.
Yep, I'm good as well.
Inside the comfort of home. Is that a kitchen setup we're looking at right now?
Yeah, just in the office at the stables, yep.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of food in the office there. I like that office. Skeeter, how are you?
Going well, thanks, Bon. A lot better than you.
Yeah, everyone's going better than me. I've had my second Pfizer vaccine and it's all breaking down. Burst eye vessel, something in the throat. It seems to be growing by the second. That's concerning. See, I think I've gone from stage 1 to stage 4, whatever, in about the last 2 minutes. All right, burning questions. Let's get stuck in. Can the dealer find his form and challenge well back Bondi? We'll start with you, Skeeter. Which one are you leaning towards? And, Bondi Lockdown opened a massive price.
He certainly did, Bon. Well done to whoever got the $9 there, because I think now he's into something like his right price. I'm leaning towards American Dealer. We know he'll stay the trip. I thought he was good at Kilmore last time out. Obviously had to make the move and sit parked outside Acknow, who ran a super race, and they ran a really quick last half there. So that was his first up run. So I think he should be better again this week, and I think he has the class. So leaning towards American Dealer, but huge amount of respect for Bondi Lockdown.
Emma Stewart, the thing that I'm so upset about that we had to get rid of the first version of this is we're talking about American Dealer and Bondi Lockdown, and you came out firing about Acknow in a different heat. I mean, I loved it. I wish we could have it. Can you get aggressive about Acknow for us again, please? Would that be okay?
Well, I just think you're all underestimating how good he went last week, because I think American Dealer's run was huge, and I think he's got classes on Bondi Lockdown, and he gets a trip, and he's definitely the class runner for mine.
All right. Do you agree, Andy? Is American Dealer stepping back up to the long trip? We know what happened in Queensland. Bondi Lockdown couldn't live with him. Is it a different circumstance now, or is American Dealer just a better horse?
I doubt American Dealer's a better horse in my mind, and his Queensland camp got off pretty slow, and he got better with each run, and that run under his belt, he's going to be better again. So, yeah, I love Bondi Lockdown as a horse, but I think American Dealer better than him in my opinion.
Are we overrating Bondi Lockdown? Andy, I'll start with you.
His runs have been good, but the opposition hasn't sort of been there. Saying that, he obviously got a win over Major Moth, which isn't easy, but he had things in his favour that time. So, yeah, no, he's a quality horse. He's put, any horse that can make a race and still win is a quality horse, but he still hasn't proved against the really top horses yet, in my mind. You
sound like you think we're overrating him a bit, Em.
Yeah, I think you definitely are. I think a couple of mine are a little bit better than him. So, look, he's a lovely horse, but I don't think he's got classes on them, that's for sure.
Well, this is good. So everybody who got the 950, there's nothing for you. Ain't winning anything. I've actually got American. I've got Bondi Lockdown on top, but it's heat racing. We've got to remember that. So I'm not saying that makes Bondi Lockdown the better horse. I just think maybe he'll get into the better position quicker. Question 2 of the Burning Questions is brought to you by the Fresh Connection, who export Australian fresh fruit to more than 35 countries. I'm going to try both. Headed up by Damien Glengarry, who is the export manager and does a magnificent job. The Fresh Connection specialises in citrus, table grapes, cherries, and mangoes. Freshconnection.com.au. Question 2. M. Is the Moth the moral that he looks to be on paper? You pick up that form guide and you look at Major Moth and think, well, I don't have to worry about that race. Let's move on. But that little gate speed issue, maybe Mick Stanley's drawn out wide, comes across. Is it a little bit trickier than it looks?
He wouldn't do that, would he? I think it is a little bit trickier. He's definitely got to hold his own out the gate. Kimball's ultra fast out the gate. So if he happens to get in front of him, he can hold up inside of the other ones. I think he is the moral that he looks on paper, but I also think Andy's got a strong hand in that too. I really like his horse, Bucky, and so if he doesn't get it all his way, I think Andy's got a good show of winning that.
last time you told us you liked one of Andy's horses, it was the brother, Catch a Wave, and we know what he did. So this is a bit concerning. Quickly, how was Major Moth? Because that was a harder run than we were expecting last week.
Yeah, it was, but he's pulled up terrific. He was sort of probably a little bit fat going into that run, so it wasn't ideal, but he hasn't taken any harm from the run.
Yeah, I thought a couple were pretty harsh. People were saying, oh, it was a narrow win. He equaled the track record in the breeze. I thought it was okay. I was quite happy with it. Andy, I'm a big fan of, I don't know how to say it myself. Is it a Yambuckian or Yambuckian? I don't care how you say it. I really, really, really like this horse, but he's going to need Major Moth to have a fair bit of bad luck to be able to get into it.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's a quality horse, Major Moth, and I expect that he's probably race. The fact I got the $34 for Yambuckian, I mean, when you get the overs, you generally don't win. So hopefully I need him to gallop out or something go wrong or lock wheels. But I'm sure he's the top seed to win the Derby, Major Moth. And I think I thought he's terrific last week against the older horses. Nothing went right and still had to win in track record time and still on a lot of authority on the line. So I think it's Major Moth.
Is Yambuckian, if he qualifies, an even better chance of winning next week? I know he's sort of untapped because he hasn't had that much racing, but he just looks like he won't stop. So we know how if Major Moth finds the front this Saturday night, it won't be a fast run race. Next week will be.
Yeah, obviously, he's got to qualify from the back row draw. Still no easy
That's
cut.
You get qualified, don't you? Yeah.
Again, no, he's a horse that can have a pretty good future. He still needs a bit of racing. He's still a little bit green. He's a bit hot and cold in his races, but he's very strong. Got a great attitude, and yeah, he's going to be. I think he'll bridge the gap on the 3-year-old months.
He actually reminds me a little bit of a young San Carlo, a young Murray. He just hasn't seen that overly bright, but just cruises up to them, and he's got that big stride. And I really like Yambuckian. $34 is big overs. I've marked him 5. I think he probably is the moral he looks on paper, Major Moth Skeeter, but I don't think he's going to get it that easy in the first couple of 100 metres.
No, I don't think so. It's always hard to declare horses' morals, when you're racing at heat level and there's so many quality horses in the field. But I think he looks pretty close to Bon. There's no doubt he, was excellent the other day when sitting past and equaling that track record. So, yeah, I think he can get the job done again. He just needs a little bit of luck early, but I think he can do it.
We either have to declare them or say nothing. When they're $1.18, you can't do anything else. So there's no other choices. Emma, we'll give you another chance to talk about Acneau here because question 3 is how good Sugar Me and can this be Pat's resurrection? Well, Acneau's the favourite in the race and he was exceptional last week and he actually follows through nicely. Is Seb's Choice going to be a problem? Do you expect you'll be fine in the front? How are you reading the race and how good Sugar Me and where do you see Pat's Beach Storm being at?
I think Pat's Beach Storm will be back at his best. I don't think Sal would have him in the race if he wasn't. I'm not too sure about Sugar Me. His form looks terrific, and the Kiwis generally don't bring him across if they don't think they can win. So they can't win. So I think he's definitely going to be the one to beat in the race. I think Acneau's got a good draw to get a nice run through, and fingers crossed he doesn't have to do too much work in his settles well. But his run last week was super, and he's worked well since. So I think he'll be awfully hard to beat.
Are you of the same opinion as Jody Quinlan that he's going to be a better? I mean, people always say this about good horses, that they'll be better off the speed. You just watch them when they peel off a hot speed rather than leading. But is that going to be where he's best, or is he best when he's out in front and he's feeling big and strong like he was last week?
I personally think he's best in front. I think either in front or off a trail, but I do think he's pretty dominant in front. So if he can get the front without having to do too much work over the longer trip, he's going to be awfully hard to beat.
Andy, you know Cran Dalgety better than any of us. He doesn't get over to have a party, so he sent a horse. As the days roll on towards Saturday night, I'm more and more of the belief that there's nothing on paper that says that he's good enough to win a derby and from out there to win a derby heat personally, but I'm vibing big time that Pat Speedstorm's going to be back to his best.
Yeah, he's a nice enough horse, Sugar Mate. He's only ever raced over the 1980, so he's never raced over the long trip before, which is generally not the norm for New Zealand horses. They generally have a lot of long distance racing, so that's quite a nice field last start. It was probably similar to what I raced at about times in this week, the field that he sort of beat in New Zealand. So again, he's a nice horse, done a good job. He kept getting better each run, but I doubt he could win the derby. Probably win the heat from that draw. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Act now, Vision terrific, and on the clock, he was terrific last week too, down the lead. So yeah, no, it's a tricky race. Again, there's a few horses vying to qualify, but if it got around before, I might say he'd be winning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Seb's choice is going to prove a problem. I don't know why. the vibe I'm getting from Pat Speedstorm, he didn't have to beat a lot at the trials, but there was something about the way he looked that made me think that he's back. And if Pat Speedstorm's back, he'll be very, very hard to beat. I think I'm cooling, like I said, on Sugar Me. Skeeter, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a few question marks on Sugar Me. Just as Andy said, that he's only ever raced over the 1980s, so he steps up in distance big time. First trip away, he's only lightly raced and hasn't had a race start over here. So he's only ever raced at the one track in New Zealand. So there's no doubt he is a nice horse, but yeah, there's just so many question marks for me. So, hopefully he can run well, but I think we're going to learn a lot more about him. And I agree, I really liked that hit out from Pat Speedstorm at the Bendigo trials on Monday. Went over there and he just looked to do it quite comfortably and be back to himself. So there's no doubt he would have proved a frustrating horse, knowing the ability he has, but just not quite showing it in recent times. So hopefully we can see him back to his best this week.
I thought you said for a moment he's only raced in the 1980s. I thought it's going to be, that's a big break. He's going to come in with the leg warmers on, a little bit of flash dance. Okay, Emma. The next question, and it's brought to us, by the way, by Felvo Fruit, specialist in table grapes since the 1960s. That's 2 decades earlier than the 1980s. Michael and Josie Felvo are keeping the tradition going, and everyone loves their grapes, particularly Andy Gath. Keep an eye out. One with the burst blood vessel, if at all possible. For Felvo Fruits, you know you'll love them. Okay, smoking up sprint time. It's not the strongest smoking up sprint I've ever seen. Not close. But who leads out of Bulletproof Boy and Torrid Saint? And would both of them hand up to Max Delight? We'll start with you.
I think Bulletproof Boy leads. I think he held the other horse quite easily. Oops, sorry. 2 starts back from a spell and handed up. So I think he'll be doing the same again this week.
That's I'm not sure that's music to my ears, but it certainly helps because I've had a bet on Bulletproof Boy. I just want him to hold Torrid Saint at the start, Skeeter. What do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, I think it probably depends how involved Four Big Men gets early days. I think it's going to be hard for Torrid Saint to cross if Four Big Men kicks up early stages because he's not blessed with, exceptional gate speed, Torrid Saint. So, and Bulletproof Boy, we know, can hold his own. So, look, I think Max Delight is going to be the leader. I think Bulletproof Boy probably is happy enough to take cover behind Max Delight. And from there, it's going to be hard for Max Delight to be beaten, but I definitely wouldn't be declaring him.
I didn't think Four Big Ben would get involved, Emma.
No, he won't be.
And is 12? I mean, I know he's a very good horse, but first up into a race like that, $12 or $13 too short?
Probably, especially on his recent trial form too. He's taken a few trials to sort of get back to where he's at, and again, he'll take a few races to get back to where he's best. So he won't be getting into any speed duels early.
Andy, the key with Torrid Saint is he sort of, when he does run the gate, he runs it quickly for a short time, and if it doesn't work out, he's normally willing to pull out, and that's why I think Bulletproof Boy can hold him. But the early market money said that Torrid Saint's just going to win this race. I mean, they just absolutely launched into him, and I thought, well, does that mean he's definitely going to cross? But the more I think about it, and the more I've looked at it, I don't think he will.
Yeah, I'm sure the drive had a decent crack anyway. Obviously, over the short makes a big difference, and the first 100 metres is going to be really tough, and hopefully they go really hard because it'll suit my horse Tango Tara back in the field. And Max Delight, we sure saw how quick he was out the gate too. Even though General Dodge sort of got across him, so going to be a lot of heat early. Again, it's not the greatest smoking up sprint we've ever seen, but I'm going with Torrid Saint might get past him in my mind and then hand up to Max Delight.
Does that mean with no natural breeze horse? Because we know it didn't work out last time. But the last time Tango Tara raced over a mile, he just took off 3 wide and he was still within 4 or 5 metres at the end of the race. If you see that happening and there being no pressure on Max Delight just getting the front, does Kate just get on her bike as quickly as she possibly can?
I think so. Again, we've probably been dying to drive this horse cold, but again, opportunity's never arisen because the tempo sort of slackens sometimes. But he tends to go best. Power rates are really fast. If the last quarter's really quick off the clock, he probably does tend to get beat. But if it's hot out, that's what sort of suits Tango. So again, Kate will have no hesitation if they burn really hard early and they slacken off to be off around them.
At the request of Andy Gath and by popular demand because of the quality of racing on Saturday night, week 1 of the Victoria Cup Carnival, we will have 5. That's right, 5 burning questions instead of 4. We don't have a sponsor for the 5th yet. I'll sponsor it. Sponsored by J-Bon. The 5th question of burning questions is, will Galahs and Maj play ducks and drakes in the feature trot? We'll hand this one over to you, Andrew. I'm interested in the market as well. There's nothing between them in the market. I've got Majestuoso at $1.60. So talk us through both those things.
Yeah, obviously, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago with Tango Tara drawing inside Mac Dan and Majestuoso drawing inside Pink Galahs when the conditions say I should have a better draw, but inside the second run on last 4 starts when you're drawn behind probably the biggest roughie in the field. But saying that, he was really dominant at Shepparton. I thought he went really good. Galahs obviously be better for the run, but I'm a bit surprised that Majestuoso's not odds on. To my mind, that they're nearly even in the market, and not being a big, probably lacks a little bit of depth too. I'm pretty confident he can get the job done.
So I'll give you a scenario here, okay? Red Hot Tooth is going to lead and won't be heading the lead up to anybody. The thought with Pink Galahs is we'll go first, and then Majestuoso will come and give us cover. But Pink Galahs goes first. They're walking. Do you still give Pink Galahs cover, or do you say, no, Pink Galahs, you can sit out there in the breeze and get pneumonia, and I'm going to come with one run and try and beat you that way?
Yeah, it'll be totally up to Kate, I suppose. Depends how hard they've gone.
I think you might have some input in it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, not in the race, but beforehand.
Beforehand, we generally drive to tempo, and probably last start was probably the first time we've sort of took the gloves off Majestuoso and sort of see what he actually could do if he made a mid-race move, and he sort of proved what he can do and still finished off pretty strong. So have any hesitation if we've got to go around, we'll get outside them.
And I kind of see them as similarly quick horses, but Pink Galahs can do it for about 250 metres and Majestuoso can do it for about 600 or 700 metres. And I think that's a difference between them. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of Pink Galahs, but I just think Majestuoso's got that little bit more class about him. And I think if he has to make a mid-race move and do a little bit of work, he can, whereas I don't think she can.
What are your thoughts here? Are we all in concordance, or are you going to be the odd man out this time, or the odd woman out, Skeeter?
No, I'm all in and going with Majestuoso. I think he's been going really good, and I don't think the draw. I think he's got options, and he can make his own luck. He's a classy horse. If he has to sit without cover, make a move, he can. He can come with that one run. So I think he's definitely got options. He's very versatile. We know that he's in great form, and definitely going his way.
Well, here's the segue. I might as well take my opportunity. My best of the night is Majestuoso. Marked him $1.60. You're still getting around $2.40. I've had decent bets on Pat's Beach Storm and also Bulletproof Boy each way. Skeeter, what's your best of the night?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky night, isn't it? Because there's either shorties or, I think the races are quite open. So I've gone a couple of place bets this week. I like Bulletproof Boy at about the $2.60 a place. I think either behind leader or 3 fence, he can run a place from there. And the other one is Yam Bucky in at about $2.50 the place. So I think he can definitely run well as well. So they're my 2 place bets that I like this week.
You only got $2.50 a place.
Well, that's what he is now.
Oh, it's tears. Did you get $2.50 or did you get better?
Slightly better.
Yeah, me too. Em, what's your best of the night? You've nailed it last time.
I know. I think I'll nail it again this week too. I've got Beach Music as mine. She's got the draw she's got the draw in the Oaks Heat to sort of tumble tough Tilly, as much as that hurts me, but she's got the draw. She's had 2 runs back, which have both been good, and Tough Tilly's got the horror draw. So Beach Music for mine.
The only thing I thought about that race is that immediately I thought, well, I was stupid enough to think that might open Beach Music $3 or something because Tough Tilly's got such a big fan club, and I thought I'll jump into Beach Music straight away here. Then it was $1.55. The only thing is, Tough Tilly's going to get there whenever she wants, isn't she? Because no one's going to stop her when she makes her move. So for the last fair bit of the race, they're going to be racing side by side. There's not going to be much between them. So if it was in a straight line, who's actually better right now? Because we've always thought it was Ladies in Red, then Tough Tilly, then a gap. But that gap, it feels like from something David Moran told us the other day, has closed as well.
Yeah, the gap's definitely closed. And, if Tough Tilly, I don't think Tough Tilly can sit outside Beach Music and beat her, especially in a heat. I'm not sure we'd want to be doing that. But Beach Music is Nearly getting level with Tough Tilly, but a little bit off Ladies in Red at the moment.
Jeez, did you think she was going to say Ladies in Red for a second? I got myself into a muck lather. He's nearly Tough Tilly. Andy, here we go. What can you provide for us? You've been in flying form still. On track last week was Josh Jenkins. You did miss on Balenciago, but you said no one was watching at 11 p.m. Don't worry, mate. They stayed right through to watch us on TrotsVision right till the very end. Who's your best this week?
If they're staying all night, I'll wait till the last race and I'll tip my father-in-law's horse, actually Plan C. I think he'll find the top. I think he was pretty good first up in that track record race. So, and his work's been really good this week. So I expect that over the short distance, he's going to be automatic leader. I think he's my best for the night, Plan C.
He holds the top, Arden, or no lead for Arden Roanoke once he gets there?
No.
I think that means that's called inside information, by the way. That's not Andy's opinion. That's what's going to happen. Thanks very much for an extended version of Burning Questions to all of our guests. Emma Stewart, very great to have you. Andy Gath, don't expect any text. Oh, happy birthday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Happy birthday, 61.
Happy birthday.
And Nikkita Ross, well done to you. And happy birthday to me too, 42, and I'm currently hemorrhaging right throughout my body from 2 Pfizer vaccines. We will be joining you next week. It'll be the biggest coverage yet, maybe 6 questions for the Victoria Cup. That's been Burning Questions.